It's time for another dangerous aside. This is new and functions. So we've already said that when we're using function constructors, that they're really just functions. They're regular functions. I'm adding the new operator in front of them, and that changes some things. Creates a new empty object. When the execution context runs, it points to this variable at that new empty object, and if you don't return anything explicitly, it returns that new object for you. But this is still just a function, and that's where the dangerous part comes in. Because if I forgot to put on the new keyword, what's going to happen? Well, it will still execute the function. The JavaScript engine doesn't know whether or not you intend to execute the function or to execute the function using the new keyword. It's just a function. So it'll let you just try to execute it. And since it doesn't return anything explicitly, it returns undefined, which means your objects that you're trying to create will actually just be set equal to undefined. And when I try to use any properties or methods on that object, since it's undefined, I'll get an error. Watch. There it is. I have undefined as my two objects, and when I tried to use a method, it didn't go down the prototype chain because it's not an object, it's just undefined. This is a real problem. This is one of the reasons why people say bad things about function constructors. But function constructors were only there in the first place to try to appease syntactically programmers coming from other languages. So it is kind of silly. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad. And you can make certain that you are doing this properly by just following a simple convention. Any function that we intend to be a function constructor, we use a capital letter for its name. The first letter is a capital letter. That way, if I'm looking around and I see that I have a bunch of errors and I notice a function call with a capital letter without the new, then I know I probably forgot the new keyword. That's just a convention. There are some programs then that could try to help you with that. They're called linters, and they might see a function with a first letter that's capital and that you don't use the new keyword, and you can run your JavaScript through those programs so it warns you of those kind of problems. Nonetheless, it's not a great solution because the JavaScript engine itself doesn't care whether you do or you don't have the new operator on there. So you can make unintentional errors that the JavaScript engine won't catch for you when it goes to run your program. You'll just end up having errors in the program itself as it's executing. So this is an aside about the danger of this. I recommend if you're dealing with function constructors that you always have a capital letter as the name of the constructor, that it starts with a capital letter, so that you can quickly pick up and remind yourself that you need to use the new operator before invoking this function to get your object back properly. Now that said, there are new ways coming in JavaScript to create objects, so function constructors are likely going away. They're not going to go away completely though, because we still need to support years of JavaScript programs that have been built. And you as a developer, unfortunately, you're not always going to work on brand new projects. There's plenty of times where you'll work on an older, what's called legacy project, and you'll be dealing with these patterns. So it's good to understand how they work. They're just for building objects. But be careful about making sure that you have the new operator when you're using a function as a function constructor.